Hey folks, Scully Nomad here, hope you are well. So today we're waving goodbye to my boat and we're going all the way next door to go on a sailing adventure with Captain Mike. Mike was kind enough to let me jump on board as crew, so we are heading to a little place called Oxwich Bay, which is on the south coast of Wales. They say it's not an adventure unless something goes wrong, so we did need a little bit of a rescue. One of the advantages of crewing on other people's boats is you get to see their methods of how they do things, and I actually learned something new. But first we got to get there, and let me quickly share with you what's going on with my boat. One of the issues I'm having with my boat is the engine. So it's nice and dry at the moment, but when I start running it, some water starts accumulating. I think I know what the problem with it is, but I've just not had the time to get around to fix it. And let me share with you the anchor. For somebody who's single-handed, you just need everything to work. Even if you had crew, you'd need a good anchor to work. And with my one, you've toggled a switch and it doesn't always engage. So this actually went on for quite some time, but I mean, you guys get the point. The anchor's not working and it needs to be fixed. Casting off time, and we got to face the other way, so it's time to spin the boat around and head towards the locks. So we are in a river here, which is fresh water, and then we go into the Bristol Channel, which turns into seawater. Bristol Channel has 2 tides a day and it can be up to 15 metres, which is the equivalent of 3 double-decker buses stacked on top of each other. And the Bay Area used to dry out until they built the lock system. So we missed the locks for 9:30 because there's a race going on at the moment, and of course it's bank holiday as we film this. So we've had to just put up to the fuel pontoon and the pump out station here next to the locks. And then we're going to go in for 10 o'clock instead. So a little bit of drama already. We were aiming for the 9:30 lock out and we were floating around for about 20 minutes, but it was pretty clear that we wasn't going to fit in the locks. The best time to leave the locks if you're heading towards Swansea is 2 hours before high tide, because you do get a little bit against you to begin with, but then you end up having slack tide and then you get pushed towards the destination you're going to. And if you're wondering why Neil's sitting down, it's so he's not blocking the view of Mike, who's at the helm. How are you feeling today, Neil? You excited? You excited?
Very excited. Weekend on the boat.
While we were in the locks, we were dropped down so you can see the waterline at the top there. It's about 4 meters high.
It's a beautiful, wonderful day. We rode our bikes down broken streets. We chased the sun, chased the sun. The day was great, we made it shine. And you were mine, the world outside can fall apart.
Which direction we're going there, Mike?
Second star to the left, and we're going to carry on until morning.
Reference.
I'm never going to grow up.
Sun is falling, speed in the black. Nobody driving, we're in the back. To the end of the world.
Why have you videoed me for? I was captain. How dare you?
Sorry,
This is
Cap.
mutiny.
Sorry.
Mutiny.
Sorry, Captain. For the navigation, we're using an Android tablet which is running Navionics. So Navionics is a bit like Google Maps for the sea, so it tells you the depth, it tells you the tide and all this type of information. Mike was telling me he purchased it because he's seen it fully submerged in a fish tank for the whole day and it still worked. They had sold out at the boat show, so he purchased it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. So we're just underway. We've got the engine going because the wind is head on and there's not much of it. But if you haven't seen the boat tour video of Mike's boat, here's a kind of summary of it. So yeah, I encourage you guys to go and watch the full boat tour video and an interview with Mike. This is going to be my cabin, and then the other crew members are on the other side on there. And of course we have the cool box down here, and then we're going to have the coffee on the go, of course.
The oven's on.
Oh, the oven's on.
Isn't it, Alison?
For the majority of the way, we were just simply drifting towards our destination with a little help from the motor. When you go below, you don't really feel like you're rocking around, which means you don't really get seasick, making it ideal to go and cook a nice breakfast.
Look at that. You got this on video or what?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
I'm the captain, I got an extra slice of bacon.
Ooh. Cruising from Cardiff over to Oxwich Bay takes about 7 hours. It's not the greatest sailing area in the whole world because of the crazy tides, so you're basically waiting for both the weather and the tide to align perfectly. With the engine noise and music in the background, I was sharing a story about sailing past the power plant on my boat, so we're basically the same distance as this. The conditions were pretty much the same. We're motoring just the same as we are now. The only difference was it was nighttime. So we're motoring along, we're keeping an eye out. Next thing you know, we hit something that's below the water. Boat pushes forward, so the anchor ends up going into the water, and then we bounce back. The three of us pretty much fell over, so we rushed below just to see if anything was punctured or damaged, so we're pulling up all the floorboards and everything. Luckily there was nothing damaged. So my boat is, as you know, an Odyssey 14. It actually has one of the Kevlar energized hulls, so it's a blend of Kevlar and fiberglass, so it's very strong and very stiff, so it does give me a little bit of confidence with that. For the whole journey, this is as rough as it got, which is excellent, of course, so it's nice and smooth. The wind at this point was still on the nose, but we're coming up to Nash Sands, so it's one of the areas with a lot of hazards in. As the tide falls, you end up with the drying areas. After Nash Point, we managed to get the sails up because the wind changed direction just enough for us to put them out. The guys are on a limited time, so we just wanted to get to the destination. As we turn up to the anchorage, it was pretty busy there, so the guys were just trying to figure out a good spot, so it's so nice to see a lot of people enjoying the boats. The anchorage is free, so there's no fees to pay. I really appreciate if you'd like the video, if you are enjoying it, and if you have any improvements or suggestions, please leave it in the comments below. So it's time to drop the anchor, so you point the boat in the dominant element. Today it is the wind, so we're going to point the boat into the wind, and as we're lowering the anchor, we're going to put it in reverse just a little bit, just so we're laying the chain flat rather than just dumping the entire chain on top of the anchor. And once we drift back and the anchor pulls, we're going to give it a little blast in reverse just so it digs in a little bit further to stop us from dragging.
We should be pulling now.
Oh,
That pull?
no, don't worry, we'll swing round hopefully.
There we are. She's pulled, didn't she? She's now swinging that way, isn't she?
Yeah, I think once we're give it another blast. So what's going on?
Snubbering.
How many fish are we going to catch today, folks? 10. It's a hunter-gathering skills in action here. Just got to Oxwich Bay, we've got the fishing rods on the go. The anchor went down about 20 minutes ago, but it's really nice out today. It's a little bit chilly, but on the anchorage we have a special boat over here, which is a Nordic Cat fairly free. So if you're a regular viewer of the channel, and then that is my friend Jimmy's boat that I did a boat tour video of. At the end of the episode it will have the playlist for you to enjoy. And the drone I'm using is the DJI Flip, which has an enclosed propeller system. For evening dinner, it was cherry vodka with lemonade with a side of chicken curry. We mainly just spoke about how lucky we were. As the evening came to a close, the boys washed up since the girls cooked, and I stayed out of the way. Since the boat tour video of Mike's boat, he's done a couple of upgrades. One is Starlink and the other is the lithium batteries, and that's allowed us to play games on Netflix. So Mike has one of these all-in-one power stations which can run the coffee machine, and they just told me that they're going to heat up the hot water on the sailboat by putting the AC plug into the sailboat directly, and apparently that works, so it'd be pretty interesting to see, because I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about plugging it into the shore power AC directly is that if you want to charge up your boat power batteries as well, you can do straight off the Ethereum unit, so it's a very good system.
Nice. You You have the ferry as well?
Yes, that's the same one as mine.
Okay, cool. And mine's got one as well.
Yeah, they're great. So they're
Did you buy one as well in the end?
I don't know, but for 600 quid, they're a pretty versatile unit that you can pick up and play anywhere.
Yeah, so if you follow the channel regularly, then you will see that I just brought my parents the bigger version of this. I'm not sponsored by these guys, by the way, but I've got the Bluetti equivalent on my boat, which works pretty well. I mean, they're all pretty similar, but Avery just seems the most price effective one. After you, good sir.
Thank you.
And we also have a fold out solar panel as well on here. So when Mike purchased the boat, he didn't have lithium batteries on his boat. He had the older style ones and he didn't have the solar arch. Those are things that he added to the boat a little bit later on. We'll do a little bit of an update of what he's done on the boat a little bit later in the video. But what we're going to do is, when we go to the beach, we'll plug this into the fold out solar panel. So the solar panel is made by Vitalman, and it's a 400 watt fold out solar panel. It works pretty well. I think Neil has got the same one as well. But yeah, something that I'm looking to get on my sailboat as well, because you just fold them out. As you can see, they're quite large, but you could always make an insert underneath the table and slide it through maybe. But yeah, let's go fishing, get some fish and drink some coffee. We're fishing for mackerel here and we didn't get any. And what peaceful anchorage isn't complete without a pack of jet skis riding around? I did see someone on a hoverboard. I've never seen them before, but he was really good at it. As it was 30 degrees centigrade, the crew decided to jump in and have a little bit of a swim. So the water was surprisingly cold, followed by lunchtime. So we had a little bit of a party platter going on here. Our intention for the day is to head to the beach for a barbecue. The dinghy has a very slow puncher on the base, so we gave it a little bit of a pump up, again using the all-in-one power station. So the good thing about it being movable is you can just throw it on deck and put it where you need it. So we're just going to shore and we've put the power station inside just in case someone jumps aboard. Cable through the hatch there, and we are rocking at 250. Yeah. Did you want to put the oars on first?
Well, one oar belongs, one oar doesn't.
Oh, put this way, there if everything else fails.
Yeah.
Hopefully you won't need them.
So,
Everyone seems to have problems with outboards, so personally I have a Honda 4-stroke engine and that does not want to work at all. Got to get around to fix it, but yeah, same with Mike as well. So he's actually going to go and buy himself an electric one. If you guys can recommend any, so he's looking for one with a removable battery so he can swap them around. Due to the size of the dinghy, it's going to take 2 journeys, so 2 of us are going to head to the beach with all of the gear and then make a little start, and then Mike's going to come back and pick up the other 2.
beep. Fuel. My engine's beep. Is it? And the beep. Kill cord is snapped.
Not the kill cord.
As they say, it's not an adventure unless something goes wrong. So we didn't make it to the beach in the end. Jimmy did offer to give us a lift, but it would be too much for 2 groups to basically go there and back. So last time we were here, we also had problems with the outboard. Actually, it was on my boat, so we had 2 outboards, and we kind of used my one to push this big one as a group of us, and then we left half the group on the beach to bring everything back. And then as I was making my way over, halfway, pretty much where we broke down just is I had to row all the way back, and it's pitch black on the beach as well. And then had to row all the way back here, and it's very far, so you can see on the drone footage how far it is. But it is what it is. So the engine's not that great with outboards overall. But yeah, we're gonna get the air fryer on because it's been nice and sunny, and so we'll just have a kind of a barbecue / sausage and burgers and stuff anyway, and drinks. With the sun, the solar and the lithium, it makes a huge difference. Need a hand there, sir?
Well, that's for the burger lovers in the
Oh.
group.
We've been playing music non-stop on this episode, so I've had to do quite a few voiceovers, so I really apologise. It's because of the copyright. Mike said he wants to kiss the cook.
Saddle up and dance. Baby, take a chance.
It is 8:20 in the morning. Hello, Captain. Captain is no bueno. But the tide is king around these parts, so we have to be up super duper early. And let me show you what we went through last night, because I just looked in the sink to see what type of cocktails were being made. Having in mind, most of the bottles I'm going to show you were full. And then I'll go help with the anchor. Here we go. Don't know what that is. Empty. That was definitely full because I got that for the trip, and this was definitely full as well. So there's 2 bottles of let's see, orange juices, and then for our barbecue on our beach, plenty of cans. Tequila. This was also full because I cut them that. Yeah, crazy. Oh, and this as well. I'll put this back. I'm sure that was pretty full. And then this was to about here when we started. Whew. I found more. I actually got caught on the chain on the cable ties. So the way that Mike marks his chain is with some cable ties, so we know the depth that you put out. Tiny bit more. Yeah, don't do it though. Anchors up though. Okay. Okay, go a little bit more, Mike. I'm clear.
As we were drinking till 3 o'clock in the morning, I didn't really film too much because everyone was hungover or in bed, and it was very uneventful on the way back with the exception of the locks. And I did find a very good place for Mike's life jacket. We're just getting into the lock, so we're not quite sure which side we're going to be mooring on. So we basically have to wait our turn to get in. And it's always a little bit of a guess of if you're actually going to fit in or not, because you have different boats coming and going. Not all of them have AIS on there. So you might expect, say, 3 boats, and you turn up and there's actually 5 or 6 boats. And then I've had to wedge in between 2 boats before, so I was rafted up, which on a 40-foot sailboat next to something that was 8 meters and another one that was like about 20 meters. Not 20 meters, sorry, 20 foot. Obviously the owners didn't seem too happy, but it is what it is. This is the view you get, so until you actually get all the way around, you don't really know how many is in, and not everybody moves right up to the front either.
We fished from Friday afternoon through to Sunday evening.
And we made it back. So thanks for watching, thanks for being fans, and I'll see you on the next video.